There's everybody who is here at this time was truly chosen through their own desire to be here. The whole cosmic galaxy was lined up to be here at the time where we deconstruct and move from the darkness to the light.
So this was more serious than them long lines outside of the retail store,
This
waiting to get
this
into
is
planet
not
Earth.
Walmart on Christmas Eve. This is
Black Friday.
Black Friday.
Oh.
To explain very simply, this is according to the work of Dolores Cannon. Before you incarnate onto this lifetime, you sit down with your guides and other souls and you create a plan for your life. And in the process of creating this life, you make agreements or contracts with other souls. Now, there are a few different reasons why you would make a soul contract with someone. The challenges that you face with other people are all practice. Everything is practice for you to ascend, to become a better person. So when you have learned the lesson finally, you've kind of closed out that karmic loop, this person will naturally exit your life. Maybe a breakup will happen, maybe they'll move out of the country in some way where you are no longer on the same path. And this is why I also always believe that whoever is meant to come into your life will come, whoever's meant to go will go, and what is meant to be yours will never ever pass you by.
Welcome to Call for the Truth. I am LaOta of the Sun, and this is Tarvars of the Sun. And we are inviting you to join us today on a conversation about soul contracts. But before we do, Tavares, will you bring us into Call for the Truth?
Well, certainly. And we encourage you all to join us in calling forth the frequency of truth. Shall we call forth the frequency of truth to come forward? Shall we call to see the truth in all that we see? Shall we call to hear the truth in all that we hear? Shall we call to speak the truth, calling forth the courage to speak the truth? Shall we call forth nothing less than the truth to come forward into our experience? Feel that?
Yes, feel the truth coming into our experience.
And if you would like to continue joining us and calling forth the frequency of truth, click that like, that subscribe, that bell notification, stay in rhythm. We also do live streams every Thursday. However, today we're talking about soul contract,
We are.
very popular subject.
And something that we all need to know a little bit about.
I think so. So we do Akashic Record readings, of course, as you know,
And we also teach classes in Akashic Record
and we
reading.
just finished one. That was me, Sensei T, and it was really thorough. But without going too deep into the class, I want to speak more so on clients who come to us asking about soul contracts. And oftentimes they're asking about contracts relating to their lovers, people who they're in a relationship with. But I really would like us to explore soul contracts in all their multiplicities, whether it be, again, romantic and love life and potential past lives and the carryover, soul contracts with family,
Mhm.
contracts with kindred souls who came here
Mhm.
for a mission and purpose. So there are levels to this soul contract thing, even I would say, and this is popping up spontaneously, contract with the Earth herself and different planetary bodies, ally forces. I mean, the list goes
Absolutely.
on. So
Yes,
may we
absolutely.
start with you explaining to us what is a soul contract?
Well, let us look at the idea of contracts, period. This is when two agree to do something. Two parties, three parties, people come together, entities come together to agree that they will have an experience together of some sort. It can be financial, it can be legal, it could be marriage, it could be anything. So I think we have a very shallow understanding of our commitment to many things, and therefore we have not necessarily lived out our commitments because we don't know that we have them. So the reality is that when we exit this lifetime, we're in between lifetimes as the architect of our next lifetime with the assistance of our guidance and all of the different ones who are helping us in that process. And when we're uh, developing that landscape, we are developing what house will we live in? when we are children? Who will our parents be? What will be our memories, or what is it that we will interact with in our backyard? Will there be trees? Will there be animals? Will we have pets? All of this is decided ahead of time and then manifested or manufactured for us for that experience. And so that puts us in agreement with all of those things. And then within the agreement, then there are other agreements, like we may decide to get married within the agreement of the other agreement, or that may be part of the larger agreement. Or we may choose to have an illness, or we may choose to just come in for 15 years and exit after the 15th year. And that we're in contract with our soul and our higher self to make sure that that happens. So these are the many ways that it can happen. Although most people want to talk about, and most people are familiar with the idea of being in contract with a lover. Like they'll say, I had this unbelievable sensation that once I met this person, it was meant to be, and that we had to experience whatever we had to experience. And then 3 years later, they're saying, like, it was terrible. It was a horrible experience. I had to get out of it. And, but someone told me I was in contract for it. And then they think that because they had the contract, it didn't mean that it would end the way it ended.
Yeah.
But where the lesson is if it ends and then you choose to have a higher experience next time, the contract may have been fulfilled. That person may have come in to help you get to the point where you change yourself enough to change your choices. It changes your next outcome.
Okay, so there's a lot that you said,
Yes.
and I'm over here making sticky notes and like we can go this way, we can go that way. However, I'm being prompted to go back to some language that you use. Manufactured or
Manifested.
manifest. Okay. That's giving there was a creative process.
Yes.
There was a forethought in
Yes.
it. Would you explain a little bit about that? Because I think some people understand it or have the gist of it, but what can you tell us about the idea of the pre-planning and the forethought of all those configurations you shared?
Well, one thing is we're not doing it alone. When we are out of body between lifetimes in the reincarnational cycle, we have an opportunity to look at everything from a different vantage point where we're not emotional, where we can see where we may have grown, where our obtainment is our highest desire, not whether somebody likes us or not. So once from that perspective, you think, oh, let me choose to be born into a situation that will give me the best opportunity to catapult myself into a higher level of attainment, because that's the purpose of physical reality.
And may I add, in
Yeah.
question, that doesn't always look like butterflies and roses, right?
Often people they choose the most challenging parents or the most challenging circumstances, especially if they're type A.
I feel like people who's watching this are like, that's me. Yeah. You feel that?
Yeah, especially if you see yourself without all of the overlays of all of the third dimensional experiences, all of the television shows, all of the Netflix. If you see yourself if you realize that you were here not to do nothing and be comfortable, not to just be high and look good. If you knew that you were here so you could grow into a master of some kind in the cosmic community, which you do know between lifetimes, you may have made choices to catapult you there through the experiences. Or you may have decided, I don't think I'll be born until they're on the path to when all of humanity is in the golden age. I think I'll just wait. But then you may not have the option to be part of that if you haven't gone through and, taken your lessons, so to say.
Yes.
So often when people contact us, they're unhappy with things that happened before, or a string of looped patterns and reoccurring relationships that they choose because they remain the same. So you keep having the same experience because you're the common denominator in your experiences. And they often are resistant to the fact that it looks like it's not them. It looks like someone is doing something to them. but they chose to have the experience of previously, before this lifetime, before being born, knowing that I'm going to need somebody to shake me up. I'm going to need a little bit of trauma to make me shake out of that third dimensional mindset and move towards my own exaltation, self preservation.
I'm sure that there's people listening who feel the truth of what you're saying, but also like, I chose this, right? But at the same time, I can see with the idea behind the choosing, it sounds like with the contracts, there's an undertone of growth involved within
Yes.
each experience or
Yes.
engagement with the incarnation.
Yes, I can remember you telling me about a client that you had who said, I would never have chosen this. I would never have chosen my mother. I would never have chosen my father. I would never have chosen this experience. You are not correct, Tarvars. I did not choose this.
You're like,
I'm like,
you did. I wish you didn't have amnesia, because damn, you did.
yeah, so the reality is that every person lives and dies by their own choosing, whether they're aware of, whether they've unconsciously, subconsciously, or mass consciously made themselves forget or not, is that this is a free choice universe. That's what that means. So,
I'm thinking of the individuals who are in that position of the tug of war with the congruency of the truth, where they understand contracts, but it's, sometimes we're just like, I'll take this, but I won't take that. How can a person gain greater congruency with acceptance of the contracts that they're in?
I think we have to really think greater of ourselves. We have to recognize we're greater than what we appear to be or greater than what the third dimensional allows, that we're great enough to have made choices and decisions, to have had the ability to choose what's going on, and then to, from that choosing, be able to navigate the highest possibility. I think it really has to do with really knowing that you're in charge. Like, who's in charge of you? Who's the God of you? Who's there every time? Who's always at the scene of the crime? Who's always there? Who's in that loop pattern every time? That's you.
Yeah.
So if you can see that you have experience, we all are being challenged for our growth and development. And sometimes we are hard headed. And so it doesn't have to, everyone does not have to have the outcome they have, but you will get what you are calling for. If your behavior calls for an outcome that's painful, you will have it.
If you're a conscious investor looking to make a difference, you need to hear about Aluka Gold. Because doing good and doing well isn't just a dream, it's our promise. Let's face it, everyone wants their money to work harder. But what if your gold investment could do double duty? Aluka Gold is more than just precious metal. We're committed to ethical sourcing and total transparency, so you know exactly where your gold comes from and who it helps. Every ounce you invest helps support real miners and their communities with humanitarian projects and fair wages. That's not just good business, it's good for the world. You get solid, physical gold, plus the pride of knowing your investment brings hope and opportunity to families who need it most. So why settle for ordinary returns when you can spark extraordinary change? Invest with purpose. Invest with Aluka Gold. Do good, do well, and let your gold investment shine brighter than ever.
I'd like to pivot a
Yes.
bit. So, what about contracts that may be over, but we overstay our contract? So, for
Oh,
example, there was a client, she got an Akashic Record reading, and she had some level of understanding that she had past lives, but she wanted to confirm in the reading. So, we confirmed, yes, you had several. But what we saw in the reading was that they had contracted about 3 lifetimes ago. They had 5 shared lifetimes, 3 of which were romantic. And upon contracting in this lifetime, we could see that she needed to decide to sever it, but it was as though she was bounded, and there was some level of guilt regarding separating the contract. And I don't want to get all into the minutia of the details, but that was the gist of it, where she felt as though she could not leave this person, even though this person, and this is her words, They lack empathy and are sadistic, but she's having a hard time. So, what can people do? Well, one, how do we know when a contract's over, and how do we release from it? Like, what are some ways, or what can we do?
She knew when the contract is over, as we all know. What happens is that because in many cases we become dependent on another and we have not worked on our
Oh, she
sovereignty.
was dependent. She couldn't see no way out because she was stuck.
And so people don't stay because they want to stay. They stay because they dug themselves into a hole they can't see their way out.
Gotcha.
Like you got a car and you got a pocket full of money. You got the keys to the car. You probably
None
know.
of those, but maybe she had keys to the car, but it didn't seem like she was trying to drive off.
Well, so that's not always the case, but in many cases, there's some level of dependency. It might be emotional. It might be mental. Like this person now, they make all your decisions, and now you can't make a decision without them. Or maybe you have been taught that, or you think that you would just be too weak without them emotionally to support you. Or maybe you are financially dependent, or you feel like the things you have, you might lose them, and you're not willing to lose them. That's all part of the lesson.
Mm,
Those are all aspects of the lesson.
fascinating.
What would teach you more than not being able to leave when you want to? What teaches you more to be sovereign?
Wow.
That person is helping her grow into understanding she should have been working on sovereignty all those years and that she still can. And there's still alternatives, there's still opportunities, there's groups of people she could join on to. There's all kinds of things, but maybe the cultural understanding, like maybe my family won't like it if I leave, or maybe my family won't help me, or all of these kinds of things. And we see people make a whole array of different choices. But all of this is to elevate you. So you get to the point where you're calling of the sun for help. That means that means you already know.
Yeah, and usually they always do.
They already know. They want the support. They're looking for support. We are here to support them, but we're here to support in the clarity of their decision. I have noticed that people do not stay where they do not get what they need. So if she's no longer getting what she needs, then she will find a way out, or she will submit to this life not getting what she needs. Those are the options. That's what we all choose. And we have all been in these circumstances where we are dependent at some level on someone else for whatever reason. And it could be small, it could be big. And we stay beyond the level of the initial lesson. So now we're in our secondary lessons, we're in our PhD classes. you know, like, okay, now you're going to have to get your graduate degree.
Get that paper.
Yeah, and graduate from this experience through your own efforts when you could have walked away 5 years ago.
Ah, the milk was spoiled, but you kept it in the fridge.
Yeah.
So that does give some clarity. I have some other questions though. Let's expand it because we talked a lot about relationships, which
Yeah.
is usually a very general, universal inquiry from people.
Yes.
But let's expand it for the person who is more so in the pursuit of spiritual growth and evolution. And this idea of soul contracts with their tribe and their groups and communities. There are many people who connect with of a son, and myself, I would even say, am contracted with of a son. I,
For
I
sure.
know this. Like I
Yeah,
know that I
for
know that
sure.
I know. Like I synced it. I went back. I was like, oh, I chose this, and there's so much evidence in this incarnation that shows it. And so, would you speak a little bit about the idea of soul contracts as it relates to mission, purpose,
Oh,
collectives, especially at this time on the planet? Because it looks like there's a lot of people who are designed to do something to help with the shift in consciousness.
there's everybody who is here at this time was truly chosen through their own desire to be here. The whole cosmic galaxy was lined up to be here at the time where we deconstruct and move from the darkness to the light.
So this was more serious than them long lines outside of the retail store,
this
waiting to get
this
into
is
planet
not
Earth.
Walmart on Christmas Eve. This is
Black Friday.
Black Friday.
Oh,
This time is not only Earth's time; it is a galactic event that's taking place where truth is being um, made to come forward. So all the things that have been hidden are being revealed. It is a time in which the cycles of the sun have entered a portion where there's a window of opportunity for the coding in the human in our DNA to be upgraded. This is a time where something greater can happen than has ever happened before. So it makes sense that those who could see that before this time, it has been written in the ethers of the Akasha, as it is already said. It was already written that humanity would have this opportunity where we can put down the anti life that has imprinted our own life force and made us less than what we are, and that there will be a new world for those who want to have a better, greater, more magnificent experience. There's going to be a new opportunity for that. And that is this time. So people were lining up saying, I want to come, I want to come. And there were many jobs available. I personally got ground crew. We are warrior status at Of the Sun. We are fighting anti life. We are here in service to humanity and to help others. And then there are those who join on to us, like yourself, who want to be that as well and who also are willing to be trained to be warrior status. That's who we are. But there are many other groups. There are those who are here to revive the planet. There are those who are here to work with nature. There are those that are here to leave enough space for us. There are those who are here to bring in children. So everyone has a different thing that they're doing. Not everyone is doing the same thing, but the general idea of even the ones who will die, who will leave in the switch over of the deconstruction, it's very purposeful that is a service to humanity. They will remove by leaving the old constructs that hold us in the darkness that has existed, all the old buildings, the old ideas, the inability to move forward, the can't make a new invention. We have to assassinate anybody with a new idea. All of that has to go, and that if they leave, that serves us. So,
well, certainly. This very extensive. I would like to ask before we wrap up, 'cause we're at the tail end of time.
yeah.
How can people, especially those who recognize I have a soul contract to help change the earth plane, to shift the consciousness of humanity,
Right.
to help propel not only oneself, but those around them into the trajectory of life, right? Talk about that timeline split. What would you recommend that they do to strengthen adherence to that which they agreed to?
I think if you have a passion, if you are passionate about the planet and the earth and farming or food, study it. Study everything that you need to know how to revive it, what it does. If you're passionate about developing children, then, study all the psychology that can help us repair the damage that's been done to our children. If you're passionate about being of service to others, you can talk to Up the Sun. We are in service to others and we are willing to help those who cannot fight for themselves. It just depends on what your trajectory is or what your interest is. If you are here to accelerate the psychic ability of humanity, you may also want to talk to us here at Of the
Yeah.
Sun. For the classes that we have in the Akasha and One Mind and calibration and all of the things that are quite fringe now, but will be more mainstream later. So there is an opportunity for you wherever your interest is. In the same way that we would encourage a child not to do what we did, but to see what they like. And what they like, then you are encouraged to go deeply into that so that you can then find your tribe. You can then find those who are with you in that. And then that will lead you, your desire to be here to assist humanity will lead you to where that information will be best served.
It's a very motivational response.
It's
Surely, because it is a reminder for the person to go into the thing
Yeah.
that you're feeling called to, that you're feeling magnetized to, and expand within it.
Yes.
And because usually that thing that you have the passion for is part of your contribution. It's your gift. It's a thing that you're in service to humanity, but it
Yes.
also fuels you. And like you said, it allows you to connect to tribe
Yes.
and give to the greater collective of humanity, and more so the future trajectory, the
Yes.
new path that we're looking to make.
And for those who are confused about what is my passion, what am I, I'm interested in a lot of things. One of the ways you can tell is, what are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to sacrifice time and the tuition for a class? Are you willing to sacrifice looking at a YouTube video? What that tells you how passionate you are. What are you willing to throw on the bonfire? What's your sacrifice? If you're not willing to sacrifice anything, maybe you can keep looking. If you are willing to sacrifice some small aspect, that helps you move to the next thing, because we have such shallow understandings of everything. You almost must study things to find where it ignites in you the reason to go further.
I most certainly agree.
Yeah,
There are many things that I like, but
yeah,
it wasn't until going deeper
yeah.
where I could see, I don't like this as much, or I really love this.
Or you go, you buy a class, you're like, oh no, that's not for me.
Yeah.
Like,
Example, like coding. I don't like coding. I
yeah.
tried it. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, and so then you've eliminated something. It's still a win. Like, I know that's not my
Yeah.
direction. So this helps, and we hope that this whole session has helped you all. But before we go, would you pull a call for truth card?
Well, certainly. So we're asking the cards to share with us the truth we must hear regarding soul contracts.
Yes. And the card is, oh, cards may be jumping out. Maybe not. Let's see.
I'm speaking to them because they'll tell me, okay, which were we pulling? Oh, gosh. Motivation. You were born for this time. It's time to awaken to remember. Get you some of these cards. We'll put a link in the description.
Be motivated. We thank you so much for joining us. We leave you with the greetings of In Lakesh and Veritas with honor, respect, and gratitude. Thank you.